and welcome to my channel Inspiring Life Changes. My name's Colette and I'm here today to do a reading for all you Librans out there. That is you Librans with Sun, Moon, Venus and Rising placements in Libra. There will be a free link in the description box down below, free natal astrology link for anybody who'd like to check out their charts and find out more about themselves and where those placements may be. This is a 2020 reading. It may not resonate with you Librans, so you may also want to check out the other signs that I've just mentioned by finding out which signs they are, where your moon and your Venus and your rising are, and you may find that you'll get more information and more insight from those readings as well. So please feel free to go and check out my channel. I have put up lots of various readings so far this year. And also I do new moon and full moon readings as well, and I also do the major kind of astrological events as well. So if something major happens, I like to do like a collective overall reading as well, so you may want to go and check them out as well, Libra, if you haven't already. For anybody who has subscribed to my channel and who has come back, thank you very much, welcome, and please share this message, let people know that I'm putting out tarot, share it with people that you think may benefit from it. And like I said, this is a 2020 reading and I'm going to apologise for not having got them out before now. I know we're really near to the end of January and I'm really sorry that I haven't managed to get them out previously, but I have had family issues and things, so I'm not going to go into any details and I'm just going to get on with the reading and say that the reading has been laid out in a clock and each number is a month and each month has 2 cards on it from 2 separate decks of tarot cards as well as there being usually 2 cards in the centre as an overall energy for the 2020 year. But you Libra have got 3 cards and I will explain them as I go along. The overall energy readings, the cards in the centre, I find I may go back to and refer to after I've already read them. I may bring them back into the reading as well because they are overall energy. So it's an energy that you're going to be working with during this year. So as I said yesterday in the reading that I did for Virgo, because they had a lot of reverse cards in their reading, and you Libra also have quite a fair few reverse cards too. I tend to see reverse cards as situations that have kind of not been dealt with, even though I know that they're coming up in the future and so they haven't already happened, but in a way they're kind of saying that they're energies that have been kind of hanging around maybe for some time and they're coming back into your life again because you haven't kind of dealt with them, you haven't processed them maybe, or like really kind of worked with that energy enough. So that's how I kind of see reverse cards. Not that it's a negative thing, but just that it's energies that need to be kind of looked at, because we all like and all prefer positive energies, but negative energies, so to speak, also, or reverse energies, however you like to call it, also have their place as well, and we need to sometimes really work with those energies to kind of get through to the more kind of positive side of it. Okay, so the first card that you have in this reading, Libra, is a reverse card, and it is the 8 of Swords in reverse. Sorry, that's a wee bit of a glare there. 8 of Swords in reverse is saying to me, as an overall reading of overall energy, this year, that you are going to feel as though there's going to be a lot of situations where you are trapped in something and you don't or can't see a way out of it. It's not necessarily true, because if you look at this card, he is actually only trapped in front of him, so his focus is very much about what's ahead of him. If he was to turn around, he would see behind him, and I am using the term him purely because it is a masculine figure here. As I say in all my tarot readings, that there are, and I am aware of the energies being male and female within all of us. But I do tend to stick to the gender of the cards just because I think that those energies are more appropriate for reading the cards. So this is Apollo, the sun god, and these are the Furies here. And these Furies are kind of what goes on in our mental state of when we feel as though something is just kind of being repeated over and over again in our head. We can't escape it. It just kind of keeps coming back. It doesn't matter what we try to do. It just feels that there's this constant, almost like a constant record playing in our head, or a constant kind of narrative going on in the background of our mind, and we can't, it just feels that there's no way of getting out of it. And that's what these swords are saying here, because the swords, the card itself, is a mental, intellect, logical energy, air energy. You may find that you're going to have to kind of use your logical mind to maybe try and find your way out of situations that you feel trapped in. But by doing so, you will realise that it's just your mind really that's keeping you in that trap. And it came out with the Seven of Wands. And the Seven of Wands is up the right way. And the Seven of Wands is saying that there's going to be situations over this year where you're going to feel as though you are battling through other people's beliefs, other people's ideas, other people's opinions, and you're going to have to stand your ground here. And this could have a lot to do with this energy as well. But you're going to feel that these people here are making you feel like this. You can't understand why you're stuck in this situation, and why other people can't see or understand where you're coming from, why it is that you believe the way you believe, and why you feel so strongly that you have to make a stand about it as well, why you feel really strongly that you need to be true to yourself in many ways here. Not to allow yourself to be swayed by other people's opinions and thoughts and beliefs, but to stand your ground. So those energies are for the overall, because there's two sets of cards here, two tarot decks that I'm using. This card came out as well. Actually, it came out in reverse. The card of Justice, which is saying to me that there is going to be a lot of situations here where you're going to feel that things are very unjust. You're going to feel that you are being treated unfairly, and that you are just battling, constantly battling. That's what I'm getting from this, and that there's just this feeling, very strong feeling of like things not going in your favour, consequences of your actions or consequences of other people's actions, Libras. This is your card, being the sign of Libra, the Justice, the scales that she holds in her hand here, and the sword, the flaming sword here of truth, which gives you the ability to cut through things and kind of, again, it's air energy. It's very much to do with the mental, logical mind, because Libra is an air sign. And being in reverse, it's kind of saying to me that there is this situation, or there is going to be ongoing situations where you are just going to feel as though you are being unfairly treated, I feel. And that's got a lot to do with these cards, these two cards here as well. This unfair treatment, maybe people at work as well. Seven of Wands can often have something to do with your work placements, Libras. where you work, how you work. You could find that other people are kind of trying to steal your glory as well, and that there could be a situation where something goes against you. This could actually also be tribunals or law courts. You may feel as though you should or you have to take somebody to court over something. And maybe again you feel as though it's not going in your favour, being upside down. So those are the overall energies, and like I said, I may well return to these during your reading, Libra. But we start January, which I know is almost over. We start January off with the 3 of air. Again, more mental stress card, really. I get the feeling that this is a lot of mental stress, a lot of kind of feeling here that you're wanting to protect yourself. The 3 of Swords, as this is actually known, is a card of kind of being very much feeling like you've been stabbed by somebody who you trusted quite deeply, and they've really kind of done the dirty on you, that you feel really hurt by this person or these people or this situation, Libras. And so you're wanting to kind of, you see here, if you want to put it up the right way, you can see that she's kind of hugging herself. She's kind of walking like guarded, and also kind of just like wants to protect herself. So you may feel in January that this is where you kind of start feeling like you're needing to protect yourself, maybe protect your ideas as well. Though it's not a fire card, it's not a creative energy card, it is a mind card. So it is thinking, it is thoughts, it is your day-to-day processing of things. And it's come out with the 5 of Wands, which is also in reverse, and this 5 of Wands is quite similar in some way to the 7 of Wands here, but this is more about you doubting your own abilities, doubting that you have the capability, you have the creativity or the wherewithal or the understanding or the even the support as well in some way, that you can do something that you need to do, that you're capable of doing whatever it is. And here, this dragon for me represents this kind of state of, in many ways, this kind of state here of the 8 of Swords. It's like being frozen about something that you can't move forward because it kind of holds you in fear. But it is to do with inner. Again, it's the dragon kind of represents all your worries and your disbelief of yourself in many ways. I quite liken it to as a child when we're younger and we have the monster under the bed, and the bed, you know, the monster gets bigger and bigger in our imagination until we get to the point where we don't want to get into that bed because we're so fearful of what's under the bed. And it's really about kind of facing those fears. But because this card is reversed and because this card is reversed, I get the feeling that there's a situation or there's a person or there's people who have kind of made you feel as though you're not worthy, Libra, that you're not good enough, that you can't do it, that you can't achieve whatever it is that you want to achieve. And it may be even that you yourself have kind of come to believe that as well. And there's a need here for you to face the dragon. The dragon being the kind of how can I put it? The kind of representation of your fears, of your doubts, of your disbelief in yourself. And often when we kind of, as children, you know, we get to the point where we have to look under the bed. We may be really scared to do so, but we have to get to look under that bed. And when we do, We find out that there is no monster under that bed, and it was all in our own imagination. And because it's in our imagination, we kind of make it bigger and bigger and bigger. I think that's also what this is saying here as well, with the Eight of Swords, because that's also to do with the mind. So it's saying to me that there's going to be a situation where you're going to have to face your own kind of fears and your own doubts within yourself of the capabilities. But there may also have been a situation which has kind of made you feel that you're not capable or good enough or strong enough or good enough or worthy enough. So as we move into February, Libra, we find the Queen of Wands, again a creative fire energy, again in reverse. And this energy for me is all about vision. It's all about holding a kind of dream close to your heart. It's all about kind of knowing what it is that you want, knowing what it is that you want to, how you want your life to be, how you vision something happening for yourself. But it's in reverse. So again, I get the feeling that this is about your self-worth and this ongoing process of not believing in yourself. And I think that's what's coming out more than any other message at the moment, Libra, is that as you begin the year, you're kind of feeling in this energy of doubt, of a lot of doubt about your own inner strength, your own capabilities, your sense of who you are even as well, because she is upside down. And it may, again, like I say, it could well have had something to do with this Three of Swords energy here, which has kind of really knocked you. Really knocked you. Just this sense of you didn't know that anybody could kind of bring you that low. It's just that sense, that's what I get, this feeling that you didn't realise, if you like, that was possible, that you trusted somebody or a group of people, like I said. But here we have the Queen of Earth as well. So there's these two elements here. Both of them are in reverse. And the Queen of Earth is a very strong energy, male or female. Usually when it comes out as a queen, it will be a queen energy. And I get the feeling, because it is the both the queens, that this is strong female energy. And both of these may be somebody who's around you rather than you yourself. But I get the feeling, Libra, that this is more about you. But this is about, because it's Earth, this is about the security, that your need for security, your need for your need to be grounded. And being a Libra, that's not very easy, grounding. Libras don't find it easy to ground their energy. But she's a very strong-willed character. If you see the way her chin is set here when she's up the right way, it's very she's very determined. There's a very strong determination about her, even sometimes to the point of stubbornness as well. This is the energy. This is the energy of the fire signs of Sagittarius, Aries, and Leos. In fact, she even has a Leo, a lion, at her feet here, and these kind of lions on her throne. Whereas this energy is the earth signs of Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. So you may find yourself dealing in February with this kind of energy. But again, it's in reverse. So it's saying to me that there's maybe a stubbornness, that you're feeling quite stubborn. You're feeling like you're going to dig your feet in. You're feeling like you don't want to maybe acknowledge something. You don't want to partake of something. Because it is all about the kind of physical realm. So those are the energies that I'm getting from this particular deck today. Maybe also that you yourself could do with spending some time in nature, and maybe you haven't spent enough time in nature lately. There can also be an element of that with the Queen of Pentacles or Queen of Earth when she comes out as well. A need to kind of go and ground yourself, need to kind of maybe take some time in nature, take some walks in the woods and kind of really ground yourself again. Because walking in the woods opens the heart chakra as well. It affects us on a different level. The greenery and the kind of just the stillness that you can find within woods and Mother Earth, Mother Nature in particular. I also get the sense that you may also find that you're going to come up against somebody who's very stubborn and strong-willed. So, in March, we have the energy of the Page of Cups. Again, it's in reverse. So it's saying to me that there's a situation here of you not wanting to acknowledge the fact that there's a healing needing to take place. And I think that's coming from this as well, the sense of the Three of Swords, the pain, the hurt, the kind of just trying to hold it all in, the kind of need for you to... This is all about healing, this card here. This is all about self-healing and self-nurturing, the Page of Cups. It's the energy of water. It's your Cancer, Scorpios, and... my mind has gone blank again. Cancer, Scorpios and Pisces signs. And in this card here, this is Narcissus, and he's kind of looking into this cup here because he's only just discovered his own reflection for the first time. But it talks of a need for self-love and self-nurturing, because in order to kind of be able to love somebody else, you have to first of all find that within yourself before you can give it out to other people. And Libra has got that very, Librans are very kind of caring in that sense as well. There's a caring, kind of considerate side to Libran nature. Easily hurt as well, I feel, as well, Libran. Probably more so than the other air signs. I don't think they're quite as resilient as Gemini or Aquarius. I think there's more of a tender side to Libra that tends to get hurt easier. And this is what this is saying to me, although it's not with this card here, it's come out with the Strength card. So this is saying to me that this is your strength. Your strength is in you healing yourself, in finding your inner child and healing that child, healing the hurt and the pain, that may come from your childhood, and maybe kind of the reason why you keep repeating history as well. But I feel that this is more just you kind of recovering from something that's been recent, over the last few years maybe. A recent hurt, a recent disappointment. But there is a strength to be found in this as well. This is not about weakness. This is about finding your strength through your caring, loving, sensitive nature, and being able to care and love and take care and nurture other people as well in the process. And this is for me what the Strength card is saying here. And learning kind of, if you see here this lion roaring, it's kind of saying to me that this is also what you need to do as well, is need to learn when to roar, when it's okay to roar, when you need to give a warning to somebody, when you need to tell somebody to back off, rather than allowing them to kind of abuse your kinder nature, shall we say, where you end up hurt, Libra, rather than the other person because of it. So those are the energies that are in play in March. And in April, we find the Devil in reverse. And the Devil card for me is about facing our fears. It's about kind of dancing to this music, if you like. The kind of, it says here with these two humans down the bottom here are both kind of naked, and that kind of represents them being like nothing being hidden. They're kind of exposed, or they feel exposed to the world. They feel as though, a bit kind of similar to Adam and Eve in a way, when Adam ate the apple and suddenly realised that he had no clothes on and that he was completely naked. I kind of see that as the same kind of energy, in the sense of you're feeling maybe that you're overexposed about something. There's something that you can't keep hidden. This card for me talks of control and talks of fear and talks of having to kind of face your demons again. There's a sense of having to face demons in this card too. A bit like this card here. But this is slightly different because this is to do more with tradition. The way that we're brought up, the things that we're kind of brought up to believe are true that may not necessarily be true for us as we get older. Excuse me, I'm just going to take my cardigan off because I'm getting just a wee bit warm in here. That's better. Yeah, things that maybe we've kind of taken on board as being who we are, but it actually isn't who we are at all. But we're reluctant or resistant, or we feel that we can't let that go. We can't move away from that because it will upset other people as well. Because we've kind of been brought up saying a particular tradition of religion, but it doesn't sit well with us anymore. It's not who we are. It's kind of something that we've taken on board because it was there as children. We kind of grew up with it, and we kind of just accepted it until we get to an age where we can kind of start questioning things for ourselves, and it may just not fit with your lifestyle or your belief system of your own, and you may find that it can cause, well, it could possibly also have something to do with this as well, this feeling of being trapped in a situation that you can't find a way out of, or you feel as though you can't find a way out of, and also having to kind of stand up to your own beliefs and your own story of who you are, if you like, as well, which could also possibly bring in this sense of injustice too, because it is just you. It's like, this is who I am, and you're kind of telling me I'm wrong. So there may be a sense here in April where you're going to have to face this. Again, you've got the Five of Fire as well, which is this card here. Exact same card, Five of Wands. So I'd say that there is something, it's almost like you saying, look, this is me, this is me, this is who I am, this is my quirkiness, this is my oddness, my strangeness, my uniqueness, and I can't help it if you can't see it, or you don't like it, or you can't accept it. But this is who I am. And you may find that you will be kind of battling through that as well. That this is who you truly are. But you have to kind of show a different face to the world because of this energy here. Because there has been so much kind of control and restriction in your history and in your past. Maybe even generational as well. It may go back generationally. It may be something that's very, very deep rooted, particularly as it's in reverse. This could be something that needs to be you need to kind of cut it somehow. And the thing about these dancers down here as well is they can just take off these collars that they're wearing. They can just slip them off, and they can just go and do their own thing. But they're kind of held in place by their own fear. By the fear of, you know, what other people are going to think, or what other people are going to say, or this fear of being trapped by their own, maybe also your own, this could also be again where this comes in as well, your own kind of, I wouldn't say disbelief as such, but your own kind of questioning, are you right, are you wrong, are they right, are they wrong, that kind of energy of, it's been like this for so long, I don't even know how to go about changing it or doing anything about it, or kind of being who I really am. So that's the energy that I get in April for you. And as we move into May, we find the Knight of Wands. Now the Knight of Wands is, for me, it kind of reminds me of this card again, in the sense of he's fully masked, and there's a lot of creative energy here, and it may be being stifled by other people's ideas of what you can and you can't do, Libras. You may find that because he's riding on Pegasus here, he's kind of, you know, he has the ability, if you like, to go anywhere, do anything that he really wants to do. I mean, he's got a flying horse. There's nothing really stopping him or holding him back. But because it's up the wrong way, I get the feeling that there is something that is holding you back, and there is something that is stopping this creative knight energy from being able to emerge, and for you to really be able to show your true face. So you're having to kind of keep things hidden as to who you actually are and what you're actually about. And I think here as well, this kind of is a representation of maybe you having to kind of the battle with yourself in a way, and having to kind of kill that idea, because that is a like it's like an idea rather than it being an actual thing. It's like the idea of who you are and have been isn't who you are. If you see, it's a chimera, which is kind of like a double creature. So you may feel as well, Libra, that you've kind of been living these two roles as well, and that you need to somehow kind of move on from this energy down here. And it's come out with the Ace of Air, which is another flying horse, which is quite amazing. So you've got Pegasus twice here, which is literally saying to me, this is the Ace of Swords, the Ace of Air. So it is about a new energy that's coming in, and the ability, for me, this is saying this is you leaving that situation. This is you flying away. This is you kind of realizing that once you've kind of battled with this and destroyed that which has been kind of holding you back, metaphorically speaking, you can then move on to something completely different, a new way of thinking, a new way of allowing your ideas to grow, rather than being stifled, rather than being held down, rather than being trapped. This is you kind of moving into new energy. That's what I feel here with this Pegasus. You can rise above things, you can fly anywhere you want to go. Again, metaphorically speaking, but it's kind of lifting the energy of the mind. That's what I feel. It's kind of almost like this light being kind of shone into certain parts of your mind that have been quite kind of dark and kind of stagnant for a long time. This is kind of old and stagnant energy, and this is new ideas, new way of thinking, new way of looking at the world. So then we get into June and we find the King of Pentacles. And the King of Pentacles, again, is that kind of earthed energy. It's that sitting very solidly in the physical realm. And here he's very much kind of, what do I want to say here about him? I will say that he's King Midas, and everything that he touches turns to gold. Again, that can be a metaphorical thing, as in, like, you may feel that kind of your luck has turned, maybe, and you're feeling more prosperous in yourself. Also, kind of that you yourself are the gold as well. That you yourself, the Capricorn energy here, because this is a very Capricorn card. It is a very Capricorn related energy in the sense of building something, working towards something, and this is the kind of achievement of that goal, if you like. But that goal could also represent you, as in this is the inner you. This is the you that you have been looking for and searching for a long time, and kind of have found within yourself. And Capricorns are always kind of reaching for the heights, shall we say. It's like they get to one point and they'll just keep going. They'll keep, like the mountain goat, they'll just kind of want to go higher and higher and higher and higher. And they'll always find that next summit, and you think, how on earth do you do that? How on earth do you climb up when there's nothing to climb up? But they still do it, and they still manage to find another little nook where they can climb onto and kind of look very scary. But that's kind of what it says to me here, is that this is about you kind of finding this very strong willed kind of energy within yourself to dig deep and find your own kind of prosperity, your own gold within yourself. Because Midas, everything he touched turned to gold. It's the story of King Midas. And there is also a warning in this card. If it was up reversed, I would say that maybe it was more relevant, but It's not helpful when everything you touch turns to gold, but it is good when it's kind of your own inner self-worth. And I think that that's what this is kind of about as well, your own inner self-worth here. And this card here, for me, the Three of Water, or the Three of Cups, it's in reverse. It could speak of somebody coming into your life, Libra, who has the qualities of the King of Pentacles, somebody who you may be attracted to, somebody who may want to give you something, offer you something, because this is how I see this card, is this kind of, this is an offering. It's kind of something that she hasn't decided whether she's going to accept it or not. Her hand is kind of on it, but it's not kind of holding it. It's kind of half on and half off, so she's almost like she's pushing it away. And also for me, this card represents, I always speak of this card, if you've watched my videos before, I always speak of the kind of the pearls being something that irritates the oyster, but they turn into something fabulous, and it's only through that irritation of the oyster that the fabulousness comes out. The fact that we get these beautiful pearls at all, which start off as a tiny, tiny grain of sand, which kind of represents to me the kind of inner, the inner spark, if you like, the inner spark of our true nature, or of your true nature, Libra, kind of being something that gets transformed into these beautiful pearls, and you kind of discover something about yourself that you weren't kind of aware of here. Your own beauty, because this also is a card of kind of earth energies, being Capricorn, Taurus and Virgo. Also, beauty being a Venus thing, and your ruling planet, Libra, as well. You may also find that you're going to start seeing the world in a more beautiful way as well, after this kind of release of all this heavy energy, that the world will look more beautiful to you. But it's only through going through that process, if you like, of kind of something that irritates, that you actually find your what's the word I'm looking for? True nature keeps coming out, so I'm going to stick with true nature. It's the word that keeps coming into my head, so I'm going to say it's when you find your true nature, what makes you shine, your inner radiance. And then we have the energy as we move into July of the Knight of Cups. Again, it's in reverse. This could be you, Libra. It could also be somebody who is coming into your life. Could be somebody who's already in your life. It's in reverse, so it could be somebody who's been around for a while, but like the Knight of Cups, they may not be completely obvious as to how they feel about you, because the Knight of Cups does have this way of kind of worshipping, shall we say, from a distance. Somebody who would rather kind of admire and kind of write poetry, and I know it's all very old-fashioned, but this knight is a very old-fashioned knight. He is the romance knight. He is the knight who wants to woo and really kind of really very old-fashioned in that sense. And that can also be yourselves, Libra. You do have a kind of old-fashioned traditional energy about you as well at times, which isn't a bad thing. There's nothing wrong with old traditions, but there could also be a sense of having to turn this on the head as well, because sometimes we kind of, as women, we expect men to do this rather than for us to do it. We expect the man to be the one who's all romantic and buy us roses and boxes of chocolates, and there could be a kind of feeling here that, you know, if you want romance, then you've got to kind of give it out as well. If you want to find the romance in your life, you've got to be prepared to do the romantic thing as well. So there could be elements of that here as well, Libra, for both sexes, both genders. It's come out with the 6, yeah, the 6 of Earth. It was up the right way. I was just making sure it was up the right way. The 6 of Earth, which is all about kind of balancing out and equality. And this Knight here does like to have kind of I would say he's more kind of, I would say that he's not so much, not that he doesn't like the balance and the equality, because this kind of sums up your energy as well, Libra, being kind of the scales, wanting things harmonious and balanced and equal equality. This Knight may find it like because he's so kind of chivalrous, he kind of likes to be the one that opens the doors, and there could be elements here of feeling that there needs to be more of a balance in the relationships here, that it's okay for a female or a woman to open the door for you, and that this is all about equality. It's also, I feel, about kind of somebody who has caught the way that you catch somebody's eye as well, sort of your okay, but the kind of outer aura as well, the kind of these decorations here and these antlers here, also about kind of, I tend to see these as kind of things that on a psychic level where you pick up each other's feelings and emotions and thoughts, and you kind of know on a deeper level, like you know then if there's something wrong, because you pick it up, you know it, even it's like picking it up out of the ether, out of the kind of radio waves, so to speak. But I also get a feeling here with these kind of decorations that there is this sense of almost like something kind of catching your eye, like something that kind of brings in your attention. Somebody who's going to have quite a kind of sparkling personality, maybe. It could be an earth sign, because it is an earth card. It doesn't necessarily have to be. It could be about making something, bringing something that's quite kind of up there in the kind of outer regions, shall we say, kind of somebody who's just loving the idea of love itself, and he has somebody kind of, or she has somebody in mind, but this could be about actually bringing it into the physical realm as well, kind of grounding it and making it an actual relationship, or an actual event, an actual situation. So that's the energies that I have for July. In August, we find the 8 of Pentacles. And this for me is about mastery. This is about you being at your table, and all these here kind of represent situations that you've worked on in the past, which maybe haven't worked out for you. But now you've got this one here, and you're kind of standing very strong at this table. And I get a sense of the King of Pentacles with this as well. Similar energy of really kind of finding your inner kind of mastery, possibly over yourself, possibly also over a situation, a business, maybe you starting out a business, or having felt as though you've kind of tried out many different things in the past, many different jobs, It could also be a relationship, although it's a very physical card. It could also be about kind of bringing, like I said with the 6 here, about bringing that relationship, that kind of ideal dream of a relationship, the idea of being in love with love, into the kind of physical realm and kind of working on something, actually kind of becoming very focused on making that a reality. But there is a situation here where you are going to be doing that, whether that is a relationship, whether that is a business or a kind of new idea that you have, maybe a hobby that you have that you actually want to do more with, Libra. There could also be a sense of that. But because it's a very lush green kind of very fertile card, I do get the feeling that this is something that will be successful for you. Something that's going to kind of feed you on a spiritual level, if you like, as well as on a physical, on a financial level. This is something that's going to feed your soul as well as feed you physically, as well as pay the bills and buy you good food and allow you to go to places that you'd like to go and that kind of thing, Libra. And it's come out with the 9 of Air, which usually is a card of kind of fears, nightmares, sleepless nights, worries, stress. But I don't see that in this card at all, in this particular card. I do see it as a kind of like balance here. You're balancing on something, which kind of reminds me a little bit of this situation here, where it's kind of, it's not as yet stable. It's not as yet kind of really come into being. It's something that you are mastering. It's something that you are really kind of working on, but it still has a way to go before you can kind of say that you've really reached the success of it. And the 9 of Air is saying to me that there is this kind of, there is a balance here. There is a balance. It is a kind of quite a Libra card. In some ways, it's almost like this card in reverse as well. This kind of precarious situation, maybe, of feeling like that you maybe feeling like you really need to make this work. What am I getting here? Yeah, because there is this really calm, kind of poised look on her face as well. She looks very kind of contented and kind of very relaxed in what she's doing. And I get the feeling it's kind of like being in the zone. Being in the zone of kind of, there's another card that always reminds me of that with this deck as well, this particular deck of being in the zone. And I get that feeling that everything, this is all kind of craziness around you. This is all the kind of outside world of everything that you have to deal with on a daily basis. But there's this kind of quite calm and kind of quite balanced stability here, even though there is this kind of precariousness about how where she's standing, what she's standing on. Almost like having with the King of Pentacles here, like I was saying earlier, about having kind of climbed up, like the mountain goat climbing up, and kind of reached this rocky point here, and you're looking at it thinking, no, 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 that's just wrong. It's that kind of feeling. But it's almost like feeling like you're on top of the world and you're looking down on everybody and it's all crazy. It's all just absolute craziness, but you're very focused on what you're doing. It's almost like you become aware of that somehow, Libras. And you kind of find this real poised and balance within it all somehow. Like I say, even though everything is really crazy around you, you've got this real kind of sense of who you are, what you're doing, and that you're on the right path. So come September, you have this beautiful card of Temperance here, who is all about being in a relationship. This is all about the backwards and forwards flow of a relationship, of keeping a relationship going by keeping that communication, the channels open. Because if you don't keep those communication channels open, then everything kind of stagnates in a relationship and kind of just dies. But in saying that, communication is a two-way thing as well, which is what to me kind of goes backwards and forwards, because you need to be able to listen as much as you need to be able to communicate, and you need to be able to communicate as much as you need to be able to listen. So there is a call here for a real kind of balance. Again, there's a balance needed, and maybe that's what this is also about, this feeling of things not being balanced in your world. But you are beginning to become more balanced and more kind of receptive, even open-hearted, because this is about being open-hearted. Because if you don't have, like I was saying, this kind of, I liken it to a flowing river as well, where a river needs to flow and it needs to have oxygen in order for the animals and the creatures and the fish and everything to survive. And if that river stops flowing, the oxygen is no longer in it, and the river will stagnate, and everything within that river will die. And I kind of see that as a relationship. It's the same kind of storyline to me, that if you don't keep that going, there is that possibility. And it's come out with the Four of Cups. And the Four of Cups often speaks to me of a feeling of disappointment, a feeling of things not flowing, of things being very kind of stuck, things being very let me look at this card properly. Again, she has these pearls, and this pearl in particular is very large. This is a very large pearl, and it's almost like it's an offering to somebody. And maybe that's what this is talking about here, an offering. Usually the Four of Cups talks, or the Four of Water will talk about a situation of disappointment, a feeling of despair, an emptiness, a hollowness. But with this card, it seems to have a different story to it, and it seems to be saying to me, because she's standing very strong and very powerfully here, and it's almost like she's saying, if you want this, come and get it. That's how I'm feeling. This is what's coming through here for me, that whoever this is about, it's almost like you can have it, but you've got to come and get it. I'll hand it out to you, I'll hold it, but I'm not going to hold it forever. But if you want it, it's here, it's waiting. So there could be a situation that's going to come in, and you're going to have to kind of make your mind up about whether or not you do want to take this pearl, this relationship. And there's something about this as well, behind her as well, almost like she's almost, I get the feeling of almost like a lot of promises behind her somehow, like there's all this light and this brightness and this kind of sense of like, come with me and we'll explore something, or we'll explore the depths of our emotions maybe, because this is all undersea. This is all taking place in the kind of psychic realm as well, the kind of water realm, the intuitions, the feelings, and that's really where relationships start. They start with the emotions and the feelings. But it's not the 2, this is the 4. So this is kind of saying to me that this is somebody who you already know. This is somebody who you've possibly already had a relationship with previously, Libra, who's come back around, or somebody that you are wanting to have a relationship with again, that you've kind of decided that that's the person you want to share your life with, share your thoughts, share your feelings and your emotions, your heart energy with. There's a very strong feeling here of emotions from both of these cards, because they both talk about emotional. So you may find that by the time you get around to September, there's going to be a lot of emotional feelings rising up for you, Libras. And as we get into October, we find the Knight of Swords. And the Knight of Swords is very much about fast movement, fast action. So fast that sometimes you can't even kind of stick to one thought. You think something, you think this is how it is, and then you change your mind completely within minutes of having thought, oh, right, that's it, I've made my mind up. No, this energy says think on your feet, because it could change at any moment. Any moment. It's very quick moving energy, but it's like literally, like if you think of Mercury, this is the Gemini twins, and if you think of the Mercury energy, the mind is kind of mercurial, as in it kind of runs into all different places and kind of, you know, takes us off on all different journeys and things. And this is really what this card here is about. Very fast action, very quick moving. And it could have something to do with this energy here as well, that once you've made your mind up about this, you're either going to be moving very fast towards it, Libra, or you're going to be moving very fast away from it. So you're either going to accept what's being offered to you here with this pearl, or this could even be seen somehow as a crystal ball as well. That's just kind of come into my mind, and I don't know why. Maybe that will be for some of you Librans out there, that there may be a situation, something to do with a crystal ball. Don't know why, that just came into my head. But there will be this situation of very, like I say, very fast, very quick moving, very, once the decision's made, you will act quickly. But that doesn't mean that you won't change your mind again. So it's a time of kind of be prepared for anything, really. Be prepared for anything to happen, because anything could happen with this energy. And it's kind of almost like it sweeps you along, and you don't know where you're going or where, you know, where it's going to take you until you kind of, until the energy kind of leaves and you end up kind of realizing where you are, but almost in a way of kind of, what am I getting here? Kind of situations of going from one place to another place to something else to a situation, and it's kind of that kind of really fast sweeping energy that will just take you wherever it feels you need to be. And it's come out here with the Page of Air, or the Page of Swords, which again is very fast acting. This is all about questions, 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 the Page of Air. I also feel it's very much about kind of not revealing. If this was up this way, I would say that this is about kind of a revealing of yourself and your own awareness of who you are and to do with your mind as well. But I get the feeling that this is more about you kind of keeping things more under wraps, that you don't necessarily want to give away everything as to the way that you look at the world, the way you view the world, your ideas of the world, your interests in the world. But it's all very air energy. It's all very kind of quick moving, and lots of kind of see the page of air here as well as being kind of inner searching, inner questions, inner kind of, like you see here, she's kind of got her head thrown back and she's kind of looking up to the sky as if she's kind of saying, you know, what's all this about? What is going on here? Why is this happening? And her arms are kind of thrown out as well, as if to say, you know, come on, I need answers. I need answers. And the answers that she's kind of looking for are answers from another level, shall we say. I don't think they're necessarily from somebody, Libra. I don't think this is necessarily about you looking for answers from somebody, but you kind of asking the universe in a bigger way, what's going on here? What is this all about? Why is this happening? Why am I where I am? Those kind of questions. And in November, we have the Page of Pentacles. It's coming out reverse again. And the Page of Pentacles is about a kind of nurturing again. It's a young energy. I like to see the pages as kind of a child-like energy. It can actually represent children as well. So it could represent children, your own children, Libra, who maybe are in situations where they're having to kind of start out on their own as well. But this card, when it's up the right way, talks of a kind of time of planting all your little seeds for your future, which is also possibly why it can relate to children as well. Children who are kind of having to step out on their own and start their own lives, and in reverse, it's like they're not very sure of themselves. They're maybe not even sure of their own kind of dreams, if you like, and how to plant their little seeds and help them to grow. And he has this kind of, he holds this pentacle in his hand and he's kind of saying to himself here, you know, how can I make this grow into more? I've got one, but how can I make it become more than one? How can I make it so that it's taking care of me from just this one? And so there is this idea of kind of, you know, planting your future here. But in reverse, I kind of get this feeling that maybe it's about somebody not seeing the value. They don't understand the value. They don't see the value. And this may have something to do with you, Libra, as well. That you're missing the value of something, that there's something that you're not something that you're not acknowledging its value. And it's come out with the Four of Air, which is kind of saying to me that there's this situation of somebody who's kind of standing back from something. Standing back, not getting involved, not kind of yeah, not putting any time or energy or effort or anything into this. Whatever this is for you, Libra, whatever this represents, this energy of not realizing what you have in your hands, if you like. And that can relate to the start of kind of, you know, a business. It could relate to a friendship. It could relate to family. It could relate to a relationship. I just get the feeling of it being something that you're not understanding its true value. And either this is you or this is somebody else, Libra, who's kind of standing back and not, like I say, not interacting with it. Not acknowledging it. Yeah, just looking downcast, looking very kind of, just looking down, away from it, not wanting to see it, whatever it may be.